swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. Stupendous!
Hello everyone and welcome back to FPL Insights, your home of everything fantasy football related. This week we're going to be having a look at Game Week 32 as well as looking how I did in Game Week 31. So on screen now you can see my points for Game Week 31. A decent score of 96, which was actually quite surprising considering, like I spoke about, it was such a small game week, which meant a small selection of point scorers. But as you can see with the captain, Salah got 58. I'm sure, as a lot of you know who captained him as well, this week would have been a great week to triple captain him in. And as you can see there, Tosson also got me 13. That was a last minute transfer, which I did. I thought I may as well take a -4 hit just to have another person playing in my team. We got a clean sheet in the defence with Van Dijk, and Daniel's got us an assist. The only player that didn't play was De Gea and Bauer for Stoke. So one of my highest scoring game weeks, which is quite surprising overall. But we'll have a look at this week's game week then, which is Game Week 32. So the first player to watch this week is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for Arsenal. Other than Lukaku, Aubameyang's actually the most transferred in player this week. He's sitting at 10.6 million on FPL, selected by just under 9% of teams. I think the reason people are getting him in is because obviously he's got 2 goals in his last 2 games, but also if you look at his fixtures, that's the reason people are getting him in, because they're so good. He's only facing one of the top 5 in his last 8 fixtures, and the next 4 games are all fixtures which I can see Arsenal not only winning but scoring a fair few goals in. So I feel like for the next couple game weeks, Aubameyang is a great choice. So my next player to watch this week is Riyad Mahrez for Leicester. Mahrez seems to have stopped sulking after his failed move to Man City, and instead he's actually back to some good form for his side. He's notched up 2 goals and an assist in his last 2 games, which is meaning that he's selected by over 10% of people now. He's just gone up 0.1 million, so he's at the 8.9 million mark. And like Arsenal, Leicester also have some good fixtures ahead, and I feel like he's a really solid choice in the midfield, with fixtures against the likes of Brighton and Newcastle coming up. And also, with him and Vardy have such a good partnership, I feel like between those two, they'll share some good points for the rest of the season. So if you're looking for a midfielder to free up some funds up front, you could definitely go with Mahrez. So my last player to watch this week is Willian for Chelsea. Willian has a knack of always playing well against the side that he almost signed for a few years ago, which is why I'm picking him this week as Chelsea host Spurs. He's actually a bit of a risk in FPL because he doesn't get the most minutes, and Conte will maybe play him for about 60 or bring him on for the last 20. But when he does come on, he's always a threat. And I think when he's on the pitch, he's even more of a threat than the likes of Hazard is. And I feel like sitting at the 7 million mark, he's a good choice for the rest of the season, as I believe Pedro isn't the most guaranteed. I'm not sure if he's injured at the moment, which does free up that midfield space for Willian to potentially play more minutes. He scored a goal in his last game against Crystal Palace, and I feel like, as I spoke about, he always plays well against Spurs, and with the fixtures after that, it makes him a very good choice in midfield. So just going on to my clean sheet of the week. Last week we went with Liverpool, and that proved off because they did keep a clean sheet. This week we're going to go with Man United. Man U hosts Swansea this week, and although I feel like the Welsh side they've been a bit of a bogey team for Man U over the last few years, I feel like Man U will win this one comfortably, about 2 or 3-0. So just looking at my one to watch this week, we're going with Ashley Barnes for Burnley. He's actually proved an unlikely asset for Burnley over the last few game weeks. If you recall back to a few weeks ago, I did a video with a one to watch, and I spoke about Gudmundsson and how the fact that I feel like he's good because Burnley don't really have that one goal scorer who they look at for goals. Whereas actually now Barnes is that man. He's got 3 goals in his last 3 game weeks, and he sits at 5.3 million on FPL, only being selected by 2% of people. I've actually got him on my side just to free up some funds for some other big hitters, and I feel like he'll be sitting on my bench, but if there's ever a time where a player doesn't play, he could potentially come on, and with his goal scoring form, it means that I can have some points coming off the bench. So just looking at a final rundown of my team then ahead of Game Week 32, you can see there's some drastic changes. That's because I played my Wildcard. We've pretty much revamped my whole team, and I've planned around what I'm going to do for the rest of the season. Like I said, most of the players that I've previewed I've actually got in my side. The likes of Aubameyang, who'll be my captain, and I'm still shoving the vice captain on Salah. I've got Firmino, Barnes, Williams and Mahrez are all new faces in there. and I feel like I've got some plans to use my chips, as we've already used the free hit chip. I still need to use my triple captain and bench boost. The triple captain chip I think I'll use, I believe the double game week is in game week 34, so I'll be using it then. I may get Lukaku in for them because he does have some good fixtures that game week. So yeah, just looking at the overall rank, just below the 100,000 mark. Hopefully can improve on that as these last few weeks come up on us. And yeah, I hope with the selections I've made as well, you can go up the ranks. And thanks for watching. See you later.